What's there better to do on a Friday night than, well, make a podcast? So here I am making a podcast, getting ready to do the meeting somebody by a chance, and never done this, so this is new to me, and we'll see how it goes. Have fun with it. I'd love to see and hear some of your comments, questions if needed, and I'm gonna do my best to stay on track here and on task. So, welcome to the Running Educator podcast. So, for as long as I can remember, I've always believed that we meet people for a reason. Whatever that reason is to share life's journey with them, share knowledge or advice, maybe learn something deeper, maybe even challenge ourselves. But these messengers that come into our lives shape the development as a person. So, in today's episode, 24, meeting somebody by chance, I'd like to share my thoughts on the subject and a personal story that affirms this belief for me. My name is Mike Cummings, educator, runner, and I'm delighted that you are here with me today. We meet thousands of people throughout our lives, some direct and others are indirect. But when I was a kid, my parents got divorced when I was 7, and I moved into a house on Kootenai Street with my mom. This is the first day in the new house. I saw a kid in his front yard about 2 houses down playing. So I decided I must meet this person. So I went down to his house. I knocked on the door, and this nice lady answered and said, "Yes." And I asked her, I said, "Hey, I heard you have a kid here." And she kind of looked at me just like absolutely stunned and said, "Yes, I do." And I even entered the house. I didn't even ask. I just went in, and that's how I met my best friend Pete, and we've been best friends ever since. So Pete is that messenger for me of my youth and willing to take risk. Pete is that messenger of a safe house when I didn't have a safe house, and so I'm very grateful that I did that. Over the years, my friendships have changed, and I think everybody changes, and change is good as long as you embrace it. But some of my friends were kept close, and others were kept afar, like my soccer, my skiing, my running, my beer, and my Air Force buddies, who are all in and out of my life from time to time. But we're able to pick up a phone, pick up a conversation right where we left off as nothing has changed. These messengers have shared a similar point of their souls with me. These are the messengers to where we can truly be ourselves and without judgment. These messengers have become my brothers. These messengers also have become people that are lives that make us better, pick us up, and encourage us during hardships and to keep us going. And these are the people that do this to this still to this day. These are my messengers to appreciate the relationships and the growth that I have had throughout my life. These are my direct relationships. But let me bring you up to today's relationship. And this is the main purpose of this episode. I will never forget this encounter, and I will always regret that I wish I could have met this person a little bit sooner. But my short drive to work, about 22 minutes, I encountered an elderly man walking down a busy street. This old man looked rough around the edges and gave the impression that he was not much of a talker, kind of a grit, Clint Eastwood kind of a guy. But his vigorous arm movement and powerful stride made it seem like he was just in a hurry all the time to be somewhere. During my drive, I first became concerned that this person might get hit by a car because for most of it, we're on a busy street with no sidewalks. But, I can't control that. As well as I did understand why drivers can't share the road, but that's a whole nother topic in another episode on a podcast. But I did learn through watching this person day in and day out how dedicated this person is to their health of walking, the perseverance, and really gave me hope. One day going to work, I was having kind of an emotional moment. This was 2015. I just lost my mom, so I could say I was pretty vulnerable. But anywho, I saw the elderly man walking on his morning walk, and I stopped my car to introduce himself. Yep, right in the middle of traffic. Of course, I looked, there were no cars behind me. But anywho, I asked him, I said, "Hey, good morning. I'm on my way to work." And, I just kind of introduced myself. And I told him that, how inspirational he was to me. And he said, "Well, hello, my name is Chuck, and thank you. And you made my day." We had a short conversation about it, how long he's lived with his wife off 5 Mile Road, and how he retired from Boise State, and he was a religious man. He said, "Well, God bless your soul, and thank you for stopping." And the interesting thing is some of the people at my work, they noticed this man too, and we'd have conversations about, "Hey, did you see him running today? Yeah, he's really sprinting across, those telephone poles." And it was just again a good story to have. So days and months and years even went by, and I would see my elderly friend taking his walks down this busy street. Until one month, I noticed that I hadn't seen him in a while, and I was just hoping everything was okay. Months went by and years had passed, and I thought, of course, the worst case scenario. I felt my friend Chuck has passed on, and I never got to say how meaningful he was. So, fast forward to 2018, my family and I moved to a new house. And as everybody knows, moving sucks, but it was nice to live away from people somewhat. We live kind of out in the hills, kind of close to Lucky Peak or whatnot. But one day I was driving my daughter to school, and I saw this elderly couple walking together down the greenbelt. My daughter stated, "That couple looks cute." And I looked, and lo and behold, it was Chuck. I quickly dropped my daughter off, and I remember like, "Get out of the car, go, get out of here. I need to go talk to Chuck." And so I got out of the parking lot, and it was just crazy. And I pulled up off the road again, somewhat busy street, but I looked at him. I said, "Chuck," and he responded. He was yes, and him and his wife, and of course, I said, "Hey, my name's Mike," and he remembered me, and it was really meaningful, to be reunited, especially after thinking the worst and all that. So um, I still see him to this day. Uh, walking on the green belt, and I honk my horn, beep beep, and he raises his hand. And even when I'm running and I see him, I give a little beep beep, and he just knows it. And again, it's just a really meaningful story to share. And I've thought a lot about this throughout, how somebody that you meet throughout your life indirectly can make such a big impact on you. So uh, this is the way I see my world, and who I meet. Therefore, I'm so enthusiastic to learn how to use my instincts with people and listen to them more. If you can detect that something doesn't feel right with a person, then you know that voice, and to do my best to avoid a person or the situation. But if you feel a connection with somebody, you should also listen to that voice and follow it. Often, a lot of people just kind of ignore it, but if you're right and there's a mutual reason why your paths have crossed, I think you should find a way and why your paths have crossed. So once you become more aware of the reasons of why people come in and out of your life, and at certain times in certain situations, the more you will be in tune with what you're thinking, and you will become more open to those exchanges of the energy. Instead of walking and ignoring somebody, stop to ask yourself, have our paths crossed for a reason? Why am I here with this person today in this exact spot? How can your energy help each other? Just put your phone down, smile, say hello, like you never met anybody, and just see what the message that they bring. So, this is pretty much the short episode of the Running Educator podcast. Make sure you check out all the other episodes I have going, and definitely tune into the next episode 25, The Spiritual Awakening with Das Sakaran. He and I talk a lot about the Hare Krishna movement, so make sure you check that out. And then March 5th, I'm embarking on the 4x4x48 challenge with David Goggins. You can check that out on Facebook and Instagram and all social media. My cause that I'm doing for is the Hope Kids Rising Ministry. I have a GoFundMe page up and running on all my social media and my website, therunningeducator.com. So you can do your donations for there. I want to give a big shout out to Rick PV, who has already donated $20. I appreciate him very, very much. So if you do enjoy listening to the Running Educator podcast, I would love nothing more to have a review and a subscribe so you never miss an episode. Again, the purpose of this podcast is to provide thought-provoking topics to educate, inspire, and empower you to unleash your best and most authentic self. Remember to hop over to the Running Educator podcast and the runningeducator.com, where you can find out all your stuff and more show, what I'm up to, and where I'm going to next. You can also follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, WordPress, and Facebook. Plus, check out the YouTube page on the Running Educator. Thanks for listening. Keep running and keep learning. And that's it. Reading from my script. I hope you all check out the social media. This will be dropping on March 1st, this Monday. So take a look at that, and I will see you all later. Hope you have a good Friday, happy weekend, and keep running, keep learning.